Today we're gonna speak about the best topic, you know, that came out of DNA genealogy on 23andMe. Um, we're gonna start very, very, very slowly. First, for the people that doesn't know about this DNA, and first and foremost, let me present myself. My name is Hamad, my adopted name. And I got this name, Hamad Abdullah Diallo Bari, in Zambia, for the fact that I received this update in 23andMe. Now, it's been 3 months that this update been out, right? 3 months now. Many people did receive the update DNA. Many people didn't receive the update DNA. And I will explain maybe the reason why, because by those 3 months, I have time to test the accuracy of this um new update. Yeah, I came with new information and all type of stuff. Very interesting. I researched it a lot, and I was down in it at first because you never know. It's DNA though, so DNA is never all white and black. Sometimes true-handed people do mistake, and it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, you know, because science will never be 100% perfect, and it's fine. You gotta understand that. You gotta deal with something that we gotta deal with until they get more samples. But for now, let's come back to this update that I received in 2020 that, in a sense, changed my perspective on my ancestry and who I am, and made even possible for me to actually see if this was accurate. So, like I say, I will repeat. 3 months ago, this update came on 23andMe. I remember, brief explanation. I was on this group on Facebook of DNA, and this person posted this, and I was amazed. I was like, wow. So now 23andMe gave us uh, group and tribe DNA, so we do not no more need to go in African ancestry and spend, you know, thousands and thousands of dollars to know where we actually from. I was impressed and amazed from the beginning because it was a very, 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 very good ideas from 23andMe and a very genius uh, ways to do this. So, me being me, all excited, I thought at first everybody would have it. So, you know, I did question this. So, once I saw the post, automatically I went to my 23andMe. And my 23andMe, and my big, big surprise, I scroll down and I see the two tribes that they give me. And one of them was the Fula and the Wolof people. And I always had this feelings that I belong to this tribe. I always have that, and even in tests I was questioning like why do I have a lot of Mandinka and those stuff, but I do has as well Fulani and Wolof DNA that I was seeing appearing on my things, and I was like maybe is a way to tell me that is a close genetic for Mandinka. Well, later on in the video, I will explain to you that is not the case. It's actually not the case. Um, Second one that I have received was the Congo and Mambundu people from the Congo and from Angola. And again, I was very excited, very surprised. Um, and this one was catching me off guard because I didn't really have before trace of this in my DNA, and I will explain why later on as well in the video. But then I question myself on how is that possible? You know what I'm saying? Because cool, they give me those tribes, but I do not find no relative that is connected to me as Fulani, Wolof, or Congo and Angola Mbunu people. So I'm like, is something going on? Is it the system messing up? You got all types of questions because you wondering what's going on. Because it's just first of all, it's very very surprising, and second of all, in all my ancestry DNA relative and 23andMe relative, I couldn't find no trace of these people as my relative. So we gonna go back, and it says clearly there, Fula Wolof people highly likely match. Now ignore the 3.2% because this there this assignment of this tribe is not based on personage. That's mean that the DNA doesn't mean anything. The 3.2% really doesn't mean anything, and it can change at any time. What's matter is the highly likely match. If you got a highly likely match connected to those tribe, it's mean that you are very much part of this tribe as well, or you have ancestor or relative from that tribe as well, right? So I will read it again. Fula and Wolof people highly likely match. You are connected to share ancestor to people from Western Africa. Many worms identify as Fula or Wolof people. This means some of your ancestors may have lived in this area, and you may have relatives who still live in there today. Common reported ethnicity or language spoken within this genetic group is Fula, Pular, Fulani, Wolof, Boko, Hossa, Sonike, Jula, Zarma. Those are the group that is somehow connected to this group, which is true. Those group sometimes mix with those people as well. But the key part on this is you may have ancestors who live in this area, and you may have relatives who still live here today. And so, like I was coming back on my video, if you rewind back, I say I couldn't find no relative, which make me question the consistency and the accuracy of this tribe. Well, not much later than a day, I feel like God's do thing in a mysterious way, and also is no such thing as coincidence, only synchronization. I have a friend of mine that saw that I post this in somewhere which I will not mention for privacy purposes, and he took the time to show me how to find the relative because he find those African relatives, and as me, it received a tribe. His tribe were the Igbo, so he already knew he had Igbo ancestry because he found those relatives within his DNA. So me, it wasn't the case. So he told me, go there, go on on your relative, and search names and find if you see these names. And my biggest surprise, I found one that were Fulani. And then I thought that I could have never find before no African relative. So once I find this one, it made me want to go deeper and deeper and go look to more and more and more relative. But this is what made me sure 100% that this was accurate. It was no doubt in my head that now I do indeed have ancestors that were Fulani. Well, after I look up about this Fulani match, 2 days after I start digging and I find another Wolof match. I find another uh, Wolof quote unquote Fulani match, and I think I start finding Igbo match, and I start finding uh, Akan match and Yoruba match, but I didn't know from which side or which sides it was connected, which was a huge problem because I thought that the Fulani side was only from my father and those other ethnicity may be from my mother, right? Until then, I didn't find no Congolese um, and Angolese from the Congo kingdom relative, so it made me question this part. How come could I find a relative from the Fulani tribe and the Wolof tribe, but couldn't find the one on Angola and Congo? Well, a little bit later on, I went to my heritage. And I started looking at my rich heritage more deeper because I remember that I was talking with one person and he told me his family were from the Congo. So I went back and I looked and I found it, and true indeed, I forgot about it. So it was interesting that I now have a proof again that this was very accurate because I had one other ancestor of the Congo tribe. But then, not enough, because for me, it's never enough. I always need to have proof and proof and proof and proof. It gotta be proven, right? So I'm like, why could I find just couple Fulani and couple Wolof and couple Congo people and they say it's a highly likely match? Well, again, the ancestor do stuff very, very interesting, and this is really what made it clear for me. Um, I wanted to see my mom's DNA because I always wondering what my mom ancestry was because she always told me that her both parent was Haitian, right, and that her family side, father's side was from Cavaillon in Haiti, and her mother's side was from Okai in Haiti. So me, also knowing that my great grandmother had was born in Cuba but was adopted, I wanted to see if this would show up in her DNA. So I made her take in a test of DNA. So until then, I thought that the Congo stuff was on my father's side only for some reason. I didn't know why, but I thought that the Fulani Wolof was only could be a part of the American side because my father's was American and his father is Bahamian. So they half of Afro American, half Bahamian. So I thought maybe the Fulani Wolof, the Congo, can be on my father's side only, and the rest maybe on my mother. Okay, but once my mom DNA turns out to come back with the result, wasn't much interested about the result itself. I was interested by the genetic um, community, and I found out that she had the Haitian only community, which made me think that maybe the Cuban community, um, she don't have it. She just don't have that in her DNA. Fine. More interesting, we wanted to go to see the relative. So, and my biggest surprise again, as I scrolled through her DNA, I found a dozen Fulani match, a dozen Wolof match, a dozen Ewe match, a dozen Igbo match, a dozen Yoruba match, a dozen Liberia, Sierra Leone match, and I find about three from the Congo. Not only that, I put her and I update her file into Jet Match and um My Heritage. I found that she had Sudan people, people from Sudan, people from Moroccan match. She had also a Senegalese match. All of that good stuff. And a couple matches that was apparent on my side, but that I thought that it was from my father was really from my mother's side, which was very interesting. Turned out that only two got from my father's side, and it's because my father is half Jewish, half African American and Bahamian, and his DNA is very low when it comes to the African American and Bahamian side. He probably had more Jewish, which will show more Jewish relative and lesser African relative match for me and him as well. So, but regardless of this, I found two match that was connected to my father. So the Wolof and I will say I can, but I can confirm, but it's 70% or even 80% I can match this person. So interesting enough, now you have Wolof from my father's side, you got a Wolof from my mother's side. Cool. I also knew from my heritage I had a fun match and I had a Congo match from Kinshasa, and I had another Congo match, and I had another Fulani such Bambara match, Sonny K will say, perhaps. And it turned out that I thought it was from my father. No, the Congo match was from my father's side. The fun match was from my father's side. The other Congo was from my mother, and the Bambara and the Sonike was from my mother. So now, interesting again, I got Congo from two sides. My mother's, my father's. So Wolof and Congo from both sides. So now you gotta understand. People, I was taught that this tribe was only assigned from one side and not the other. No, this could be from both sides of your parent. Both of them could have this tribe within them, and this is why they show you highly likely match. Then I went on Jet Match. I found a lot of Fulani match from my mother, a lot of Fulani match from my father. So it was very equal for both of them. Because Jet Match is more easier. You took the Jet Match number, and I got my mother Jet Match. If it don't match my mother, but it match myself only, then I know that is also matching my father's side. So that's how I knew. So now you got Fulani from his side, Fulani from my father's side, Wolof from my side, Wolof from my mother's side, Congo from his side, Congo from my father's side. Now the reason why you got lesser Congo and a relative is because these people don't really test that much within the DNA. Even the people from Angola, they don't test this much when it comes to DNA, right? You got a couple hundred people, and that's that. So this is why it's very rare to find Congolese match as much than 10 or 15, such as the Fulani and the other tribe are the Mambundu people. You understand what I'm saying? So this is the only reason why I got lowest Congo match, but it's on both sides, and I think I got six on my father's side, four on my mother's side, or five. And for when it comes to Fulani, I think I got a dozen on my father's side, a dozen on my mother's side. I got one Wolof people only, and couple Wolof people on my mother's side. So it's very much half and half, which made me come back to the currency of this DNA. This DNA is very much accurate. Is no doubt that this is a good step for the people that have African ancestry, as African American, or people from the Caribbean or from other places in the world that have African ancestry, and that want to know where they belong to. And I wouldn't change anything. I would just make stuff a little bit more specific, such as the area, and trying to separate the Fula and the Wolof people are grouped like that because those people, true indeed, they mix a lot with each other and they're a lot similar to each other, but they are different ethnic group. They are not the same group. So that is important that they trying to separate. But because I understand that they say the Senegambia and Guinea, the Fula people are in Senegambia and Guinea, and the Wolof are in Senegal and Gambia as well. So that's why they group that all together. And same for the Congo people. They mix out with the people from Angola and stuff like that. So it make very sense, but at the same time, that's all the little thing that I will reproach is also to put the relative underneath those results like that. It make more easier for us to connect with these people instead of looking for these people all the way around. I will also want it to ancestry DNA because most of all the African ancestry, African tribe that I find from this not even from 23andMe. It was from African I mean not African, sorry, Ancestry DNA, the app. So I was finding there, and I think it would be a good idea for um, Ancestry DNA to start doing the same thing as 23andMe and give us tribe instead of broad region. You understand? That would have make very much sense. And for 23andMe, like I say, the only thing I reproach them is the relative. Put more of those relatives that test there so we can know and we can communicate with them because I'm Jewish and 90 I'm not Jewish, but my ancestors were Jewish. I got 29% Jewish in there, and they put 98% of all my relatives Jewish. So 23andMe, I couldn't find no relative yet. Uh, which that's why at the beginning I was very doubting. I was doubting because I couldn't find none. But if you test somebody from your family that is scoring nearly 93 to 95 African, you will surely find a couple of those African relative and find your tribe. You know what I'm saying? So this video was not to be that long, but I had to explain a couple stuff for the people that received this uh, beautiful update from 23andMe, and I understand that it's not no gimmick. Because I didn't have no idea before that I had this within me. I didn't had zero, no idea, no proof, no nothing, and I saw also people that did had idea of and received this. So it's just confirmation on top of confirmation on top of confirmation where you can't doubt. Now, true-handed, I found relative that still live in those places, that's still connected to those tribes, but I couldn't find an ancestor because of the way my familial history was make it kind of like make me more difficult because I get brick walls on each side after like my third great grandparent, so it's very difficult for me to find that uh, exact person for that tribe in Africa. But when it comes to relative, I have many relative connected, to those people, such as the Fulani and the Wolof. I got the Diallo, the Fal, the Sao, the Bari, you know, I got most of them, most of all the name the Fulani people that you can get. I got them all, but the one that I match the most the family is Diallo and Bari. For the Wolof will be NDI and Yeye, or Fall or Sao or Diop. Those are the family that I'm connected to the water side. And for the Congo, I don't have name, but I know I have a tribe. Is the Anamango tribe that I found that I was connected to, and the Yambe tribe that I was connected to. And I had a couple relatives in Kinshasa and Brazzaville, place like that. And for the Fulani, Guinea Conakry, I got all the way Nigeria, where the hosts are at. I have Burkina Faso, Guinea-Bissau. I got Mali. I had Senegal. I had all around there. Dakar. So I know exactly where my relatives are from, and it's very very interesting, and it's because of 23andMe. If this update would have never been there, I wouldn't really know all of those information. Now today, include those tribe. I have other tribe that is mostly connected to my mother and a bit for my father, and I count that I have 123 relative from Africa that is outside of Africa living in the new world, such as Americas, Europe, place like this. So don't over underestimate it, this 23 and me new update result. Hopefully, I hope it won't change, because for me it's kind of like impossible to change with everything that I found. I had so much proof on top of proof. One of these proof is this one. You see, I test with other company, and they literally show that I have Fulani and Congo and other type of tribe, but mostly Fulani and Congo, and even Berber DNA within me due to the Fulani. Um, on all my chromosomes, so it kind of like just complete what 23andMe trying to tell me, because those go by chromosome. It don't go by the Y or the X as what the African ancestry people does, right? So that's is very important that you understand that is a chromosomal um DNA result. It's not a Y Apple group DNA result or a mtDNA result. Okay, so the mtDNA result in a Y Apple group DNA is only count for 2% of your ancestry. So regardless of what you father was having, and your mother was having as a tribe, that's mean that in such a long time it don't really mean none, because it's not even inside you as it's supposed to. But even there, I feel as even if you were to do this African DNA ancestry, it will come up exactly with the same kind of result that they showing you on your chromosomal DNA, because they all mix with each other and go to this line. So that's one thing. And then like I say, you can see Berber Algeria, that's the distance, but because I'm so mixed, the distance is very high. That's the only difference. But they say Berber Algeria and Fulani and stuff like this. So again, Fulani came a lot of time for me, and Fulani is one of my highest tribe with the Wolof and the Congo people. Mambundu, like I said, I find only probably one from Angola, and I'm looking to see more. But it's not mean, like I say, that it don't exist. Again, it's a lack of those people testing inside of the DNA. This is the reason why it won't show up. Now that I explained all of this, hope that you liked the video. Hope that this video was not too long and boring. Hope that you understood this video from A to Z, and that you can comment, like, subscribe, and that maybe you can share yours result with us, with me, in my comment. Also, before I leave, one quick thing: if you didn't receive a tribe, is because simply you don't have it within your DNA, and they probably trying to find which tribe you have. Also, the second thing is that you probably have so much mix within yourself as an African that they can define which tribe you from. So those are the stuff that I learned. And the last one, which is the most evident, is that the tribe that you are belonging is not from there necessarily. They didn't bring it yet, so you just don't have this tribe within you. And so, if it's the case, don't be sad because they say they will bring more update to this and more tribe. So, surprisingly, when this other update will come, you might see one tribe that is added to yours, and hopefully you can find answers to your question. So, bear with us and trust into the process. Much love, peace, peace.